In this media post, I'm going to be talking about the different editing processes I used throughout the production of my A2 coursework. Editing is a very important part of the whole process of building a music video and my ancillary tasks because it really makes the work fit together and work really well. So when I was carrying out my media coursework, I used a variety of editing processes throughout my music video as well as throughout my ancillary tasks, and I was able to use the Adobe Suite, which is a software on our school computers, and I used Premiere and After Effects. When I was editing my music video, I used Premiere and After Effects. They work together, so if I wanted to add two different manipulations to a piece of footage, like for example warp stabilizer and adjusting the speed to slow it down or speed it up, I was able to do this in Premiere and then add the second effect in After Effects. So on Premiere I was able to do a variety of different editing techniques such as cutting, fading, warp stabilising, time remapping, so slowing down or speeding up footage or reversing it actually, and colour grading with a 3-point colour corrector tool. So cutting refers to dividing up a piece of footage into a few different pieces, so you can have the start of a piece of footage but not really want to use the middle bit and then use the end bit. So this allowed me to chop and change my footage so that it all worked together and had a set storyline. So for some parts of my music video I wanted one bit of footage from one sequence, but then the next bit that I'd filmed with that didn't really go, so I chopped it and cut it in half, and then I bought another piece of footage that I'd already filmed from elsewhere. So that was quite good. I used that the most out of all the different editing techniques in the music video because it was just the easiest ways to transition. But I also used fading, but I didn't really use this much. I only used it twice because I felt the cutting was more dramatic and worked better to the beat of the song. But I used it a couple of times in my music video because it showed the transition between two opposing states. So I used it when my main artist was going from London to the countryside scene, because it showed a really good transition between the two different locations and it made it look like a really important moment. So that's why I used transition in terms of fading. And another one I used that wasn't really to do with transitions but was more to do with the actual footage itself was warp stabilising, and I use this quite a lot in my music video because I did a lot of handheld shots, and when you're doing it handheld you don't really realise it at the time but you're actually quite shaky. So I use this as it allowed me to stabilise my shaky footage, and it like puts a layer over the footage so that it makes it more smooth, and it does like the smoothness and the motion, and you can kind of change the percentages about a bit so it doesn't look like an alien piece of footage. Works quite well and it looks quite natural. So it allowed it to enhance the motion and make it less shaky. So it zooms the footage in a little bit, which allows it to make it not look so weird and warp-like. So this really eliminated the shaky aspect of my music video and made it look overall more professional. Another effect I used which was to do with the actual footage itself, was time remapping. So for the shots where I got my actress to turn and stuff, I really wanted to do slow motion shots because I thought it was more dramatic than in normal speed. So when I did this, I had to click on the piece of footage and then go on to the speed / duration, and then I changed the percentage, and that changed the kind of how fast or slow my clip was. So that was really useful, and I also got to reverse footage. So if I did a focus pull, but I wanted it to go into my main artist as opposed to going away from her, I just reversed the footage so then it looked like it went into her as opposed to away, and that really draws focus and attention to my character that I used in the music video. And the final thing I did in terms of editing was the 3-point colour correcting colour grading. I did this at the very end of my music video because you can take one colour graded clip and you can put it over a few different pieces of footage if they were all in the same location. So for example, in my black box room, because the lighting was all the same, I was able to edit one piece of footage and then drop that same filter, that adjustment layer, I was able to drop that over the pieces of footage that were also in the black box. So this was really good because this really enhanced the colours. It changed the contrast, so it made the colours look more vibrant and really stand out against each other, so the blacks and the whites. That was specifically good in my black and white shots because it really amplified the footage and made it stand out and look more dramatic. And then you could also just adjust the tone, so if I wanted it to be a bit more of a warm tone music video as opposed to a cool tone, because I thought it worked a bit well against the black and white, so it wasn't so dreary, it looked quite nice. So I changed it so it's a bit more to the yellow-red spectrum of the colour tool, but you could have had any effect to it, so you could have made it more of a blue tone, a red tone, a green tone. It depends on what your music video and what you were going for. But I wanted it to have a warm tone overall, so I changed it only slightly so it didn't have like a red filter over it. But yeah, I thought this worked really well, and it made my music video look quite professional overall and have a really nice airbrushed and really vibrant effect, which was really nice. But yeah, they were the main editing processes I went through with my music video, and I hope this post has explained them well and that you now understand them.